Hey guys, what's up? It's Shirt Talking. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about Christmas Miracle, the second Christmas event to reach global on July. We all know this, we are on July, we are not on December, but they are releasing the events based on the Japanese schedule. This is actually good. We already talked about this because they are not messing up with the balance of the game. So Christmas Miracle is a very similar event when compared to Monica Christmas Operation because they share very much similarities. When you start the Christmas Miracle, you see that they have the same number of stages, getting to 10 fights. You can see it's the same as Monica's Christmas Operation. 10 fights, you have normal, you have hard. You also have a stage that will drop triple drops for every single day. But Christmas Miracle is better because you can farm more stuff. You also have a drop from this equipment here. It's called, let's see, it's the first one, Parad Helm. It's an helm that increases resistance to darkness. It's also used to increase intelligence and dex, so maybe Monica can be used because she can get more chance of inflicting stun or paralyze. Maybe useful for that. It increases blunt resistance. It's very similar to the ones we already have on the game, so it's not something unique. Maybe you get one just for collection. Then we have another one. Let's see. The other one that we can farm is a robe. And this robe here is also very similar to the ones we already have, just a little different here and there. This one is more focused for mages that inflict damage. The other one is more focused for healers. And you see that titles are very similar, but it brings paralyzed resistance. This can be useful, but we also have Farmable equipments that also increases paralyze. So maybe get at least one for collection, and if you are planning on building a full mage squad, you still can't do that unless you use S and A styles. But at least one of them is good. Okay, so besides those two things that we can farm, we can also farm for shards of Agatha. I do not recommend you doing so because it's not a good drop rate, and it's just one piece for each run, and even when it drops. Now let's give a look on the boss from the last stage, either on normal or hard. You will see this boss here, he's called Chariot. He is very strange. Guys, he's a dragon, and also an undead, and also bone. So you have lots of way of dealing critical damage to him. Undead is weak to sun, so very easy. We have even the Sofia from this event can deal sun damage. Blue can deal sun damage. We also have bone, so Bone Crusher from Sofia, the SS style, will deal a lot of damage. We also have other characters with access to that. Also, all the characters released on Christmas are either slash or blunt damage. You can see, actually, Monica is not, she is pierce, but all the others are, and you will be easily dealing damage with them. Also, this boss is not resistant to stun, so you can stun him very easily. The past one was weak to paralyze, but this one is not exactly weak, but not resistant to stun. You have lots of ways to stun this boss, and it will be very easy, especially because the stun inflictors have high edge, meaning you have more chances of inflicting on the start of the fight. And on the last stage, you can see that we can farm for this piece shards from Sofia. Sofia is one of the new characters from this new event, and she's given from free. And she's actually awesome. Not only the art, because I know a lot of people will like the art for this version of Sofia, but she's very incredible. She has very good status. She has some access to very good spells and attacks. Let's just check out. So, Atar of a Holy Knight, this is the name of his style. We have Light Ball as the first attack. This is very interesting because it's the same skill that people use with blue to clear some waves, because it deals more damage to undeads. Most of them are weak to Holy, and it's good to clear waves with a very cheap BP. You see, 5, it can be reduced to 4. Very nice. So she has Gale Strike. This one is not so good, but it has a B power and increases her own neg. This can be useful for some formation that reduces neg, and if you were planning on using her for healings, because you can inherit that from her SS version. And Seismic Strike is just all damage, damage to all foes. It's blunt damage with the C power. Seismic Strike is very similar to another attack that we have with the Martial Artist that also costs the same BP. This is good because it can also inflict a stun. I think this one is even better, but it's a low chance. And now let's check her elemental resistance. She is only weak to pierce. In her abilities, she has fired up too, so she gets more increase to damage stealth. The second one is start of the turn. She has a chance to enter stealth. Good to be used on the back lines. She has fired up too. It increases the overall damage of her at any time. Silence Incarnate gives her a chance to enter stealth with a medium chance on the start of the turn. This one is good so she doesn't get attacked much often, and Hardy Wallop increases the damage even more if she's on full HP, so she's better to clear in ways where she deals enough damage without having to be attacked. So I think she's a very good option. She also uses a hammer with Holly. We have this because we got this with Sofia. You can just simply use the same equipment with that your older Sofia uses, and then you have to decide if you want to inherit a healing spell or maybe Bone Crusher, because Bone Crusher is also good to deal damage or just throwing the buff. It will depend. If she is your healer, you're just switching out for different type of attacks and having a better, easy to use spell. You will have to decide between healing or debuff. So I think this Sofia is very worth. You also get a lot of her shards. You can at least get her to level 42 without even having to use more shards than what the game gives you. You get 30 just by clearing stages, and then you can purchase 160 from here. So 30 plus 160 is enough to get her to level 42 without much work. And then we have a Tatiana piece here as well. You can farm this Tatiana because 100 is enough for you to get the character just by using these tile pieces. Even though she's an A style, she does have some interesting options at her disposal. I do think that you also need to get all the items from the shop up to the blue gems, so get everything. It will be a lot more costly because this time we have two equipments. We have Silver Kuridas, it's a heavy equipment. It has good resistance for pierce and slash, and it will get even better as you evolve. And it's better for characters that are in front lines because it reduces Aggie. So okay, also Holy Knight Sockets is just very similar to what we already have, but it doesn't have any penalty, gives you love, Aggie, and so this Holy Knight Sockets will be a very good option for Sofia if she's on the mid lines, or even that Flurry as well. Another similarity with the two Christmas events is the event missions. They are exactly the same between the two events, with the only difference being instead of bringing Fluffy to battle, you have to bring Sofia. Doesn't really matter if it's the S or the SS version, but can't be Agatha. And you also have to always check out to do 3 daily style ups and 1 level on cap. Same things as the Monica. You will actually be clearing both together. So okay, now that we're talking about this, we have to talk about the characters and some of the other information from this event. You can see that you get these presents. This is the drop that you get by clearing stages, just like the past event. And we have 50% increase on drop if you get the SS styles, and 20% for the other styles. The remaining styles related to these characters get only 10%, but everything helps if you're not planning to summon. And we, just like the other event, we have 3 times drop every single day with some stages. Use that in your advantage if you are casual. Last thing is that double gains for all of the 5 characters they are featured on this. Is Sofia, it says Tatiana. That's the same as Vagabond because she shares the same lineage from Romancing Saga 2. And then we have Albert and Guinea. So now that we talk about these characters, we have to talk about if they are worth or not. So starting from this video, I'll be making some changes into how I make guides. I was making too much information on a single video. The first Christmas event, I had the whole event and I was talking about the free characters, also about the premium characters, trying to make a review, and I think it was way too much information for a single video. So many people didn't watch it till the end, I know, because I have the data. And now, this time, I will only be talking about the general view of these characters to try to justify if they are worth or not, and then I'll be releasing a single, separately video for every single one of them in my channel. It will be easier for people to search for them in the future and have an easy way to find the information they need. So now we start with I'm not cold at all, Guinea. This Guinea is very different from the original Guinea we have in the game, because that one is a debuffer. This game call it as a jammer. This one only has one way to debuff the enemy, and it's with Aqua Luna. It's a SS power skill that has 14 BP cost, and it has a small effect on reducing the target's will. She has lots of STR because of her build. She also gets more STR with her grout hates, and you can see 41% is quite a lot for this character. All of her abilities are also based on getting even more STR and inflicting more damage with Fire at 4. I think she may be the best one of this bunch because she's just an attacker, there's nothing more to it. And then we have Knight of a Holy Knight Albert. This one is very different than the other Albert we have, that is a defender. This one is actually similar to an attacker, but the game defines him as a supporter simply because of the Fairy Glow. This skill increases the target's agi by a large effect, so can be helpful for formations where you have a reduced agi on the back row, and then you suddenly need to increase the agi of this said character. But he also has one effect of his passive that when he reaches 0 HP, he will recover all surviving allies. It's kind of a suicidal thing, but it is also the same effect we have with Sofia and Flurry, Christmas Flurry. And it can be used in some situations, but it kind of clashes with his third passive that gives him a stealth chance. So it's very it's difficult to make use of that. And giving a look on his style, he is built for STR, Endurance, and Will and Love. Love is needed because of his healing. So I don't know, this character here is very different from the other one. Albert is still the best tanker we have in the game, so deciding to switch out for this version of him will reduce your tanking abilities unless you have Gustav or maybe other tank to replace him. It will depend on the content, but being unique doesn't mean that he's good. There are strategies to use that ability to heal, but it's not so easy because of this stealth. The next one is Cat. Today is an exception. This one is interesting because she can inflict a lot of debuffs. She is a jammer, you can see here, and she has Punishing Palm to also hit AoE damage, and Wind Whistle that has a chance to inflict stun. She wants to bring stun to the table because of her abilities are based on that. The first one has a chance to reduce the target's stun resistance, and she has Enervate 2 to give her a chance to debuff the STR and Agi from all the enemies that she attacks. She also has a build more towards Agi. Let's see this right now. We also get a better growth hit with Agi. She's very based on getting more edgy. It also gives more attack because they also benefit from getting edgy to deal damage with martial arts skill. So one good reason to summon for this cat is to bring the SS style submission into this version of cat, and you will have two STR debuffs on the same time. They will be inflicted on the same time, but only if Enervate activates, because it's a medium chance, medium effect. Medium effect is pretty nice because a lot of the debuffs are small effects, so having two things on the same time with a character that needs more edgy and already has means that she will attack the boss before you get attacked, and you will reduce the incoming damage. And last is Tatiana. This Tatiana is a little interesting, but she is kind of struck with a style. There is no S or even SS version of Tatiana in the game so far, so you can see that she has something very unique. Overflow is not easy to find. Overdrive attacks will have a damage increased by a large effect. You have to understand that the large effect is the highest effect that we have. We also have extreme effect, but it's very uncommon. So this kind of makes her very strong when dealing the less damage. She also doesn't have much agi, so she will probably attack by less. You can see here by checking out, she even has a negative bonus when on level 1 from her style. So at least she has a Skull Splitter, but doesn't have any other skill that does even S or SS damage. So she's kind of struck with everything that she wants to bring to the table, and her attacks also clash with the original SS Sofia. So it even less of a ideal to use this character in the game. So I think this is it. I think none of these characters are worth of your summons. I only summon for them because I'm a collector. So collectors just wants to collect things. So wait for the next banner. New Year's banner will have better options. And thanks for watching this video. We'll see each other on the next one. Bye.